Hi, my name is Brian with the Seat Shop. Thanks for tuning in for this week's instructional install video. What we do here at the Seat Shop is a little bit different than a lot of upholstery shops. We specialize in doing one-off pieces, leather cover pieces, for trucks and SUVs, mainly domestic, Ford, Chevy, Lincoln, Cadillac Escalade, which will allow you to replace just one single cover that's worn out instead of redoing your whole seat. And this instructional video series will take you through all the different makes and models, and so you can do the install yourself right at home. Alright, the seat we're going to be replacing today is out of an 03 through 06 model GMC or Chevrolet pickup truck. This covers also the same for the Suburban, Tahoe, Yukon, pretty much any full-size SUV, Chevy or GMC. The first step in redoing the bottom seat covers, we've got to pull this plastic paneling off the side for all your power control mechanisms. That's done by removing these 5 screws here, just regular Phillips head screwdriver. We're going to go and pull these out. Now sometimes these are actually little bitty Torx bits. You can get them in any hardware store, any automotive shops. 90% of the time it's a Phillips, but every once in a while you look down there and you see some kind of funky starter bit, which needs a Torx bit. That's what you're going to need to get those out. But this one happens to be a Phillips. Alright, now they've got the screws out. We're going to pull this panel out. There's a little bit of slack. There's not too much. You get a little bit of room to work with. There's 2 clips we got to undo. The front, we got this front clip here and this rear clip. Now the button that's going to release your front clip is right on the inside between this plastic piece and the clip. You can kind of get your finger in there and you can push down on there to unclip that. And the clip on this piece here is on the back side of it. So once you got that undone, you can flip this thing upside down and you get to that back clip real easy. Alright, now that we get our control panel off, the next step we need to do is we need to remove this plastic panel off the side. There's a couple plastic clips that are on the inside of this thing that are what actually attach it to the frame. The first clip is on the very rear. We're going to go and pop it off. Sometimes you can pull it with your hand. Sometimes it's a little handy to have a pry tool. If you don't have one of these, you can use a flathead screwdriver, will help too. First one's right here. We're going to go ahead and pop it off the frame. We're going to kind of rotate a little more. And just kind of work your fingers around the back side and kind of pull them off, and they'll just snap. There's not a screw or anything, just clip-ons. Alright, that popped off there. The seat belt here, just kind of twist through that pattern right there to release that. And here's all the clips I was talking about there inside. You got the front, you got 2 in the middle, and 1 in the rear. So you got 4 total clips. Okay, now we've got the plastic panel off. The next step, we're actually going to turn the seat back on its back, and we're going to start to undo all the power connections for the power motors underneath. Layer down here. Okay, you're going to have a couple main sections where your power clips are going to be. First, it's going to be right along here on the top, and usually down the side panel here, on the side where your control panel was, and this other side over here. Now later on, in a couple steps, when we're actually removing the top cushion, I'll show you a way to double check that you make sure that you got all your wire connections disconnected. Okay, now that we got all of our power connections disconnected, there are 2 nuts here that we need to unscrew. So the next step is we're going to be removing the seat cushion from the actual full seat frame. What you'll need is a 13mm socket. We have a little impact drill here. You can use a regular socket wrench or a drill. We're going to go and remove these 2 right here. One. Okay, now once you got these 2 off, the bottom actually doesn't have a nut on it. There's actually a little plastic tab that pushes through a slot. Now when I pull this up, you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. So this seat cushion will lift forward and come off the frame. Okay, when I was pulling this cover off, as I said a couple steps before, to be able to troubleshoot to see if you make sure you got all your clips undone or not. It turns out that I actually forgot to do one, and the cover wouldn't come completely free from the frame. So I was able to trace this wire here that was holding it up in through the frame, and it's actually onto the main power connection. This is actually the connection that hooks up to your floorboard of your vehicle. So I'm going to use this pry tool to help pop this off. There we go. And now there's a couple other spots that it holds onto the frame as well. I'm going to go back in with my pry tool and pop it. Now this cable is going to feed completely through the frame, thus making the seat cover completely separated from the seat. Now there's one other thing you need to look at. Earlier I was telling you about the two bolts at the two nuts at the very top, and then there's two pegs at the bottom. This is your little peg that's in the bottom. Now that peg goes in this corresponding groove in your bottom of your frame. You got the large circle at the top, followed by the little trough underneath. So that when you're reinstalling it, the yellow peg go through the hole and slide down through that trough. Then you go ahead and tighten your nuts on top. You'll be set to go. Alright, now that we got the seat cover completely separated from the seat frame, we're getting down to the nuts and bolts of it. We're going to actually take the leather off now and go ahead and start reinstalling the new cover right onto the foam cushion. I'm going to have Hunter here grab this bottom frame out of the way, and we'll sit here to work with our bottom cushion with the leather here. Okay, now we're going to come in with our flat head screwdriver here. We're going to start undoing all these plastic clips. Now be careful, all this metal rim around the whole seat can be very, very sharp and really easy to cut your fingers. So as much as you can do with the screwdriver, the better. Keep your fingers away from that metal frame. All right, let's pop these off. Okay, now this trickier part, there's one long plastic piece that runs around this whole rim. Now it'll roll backwards off these clips. Now there's really razor sharp underneath some of these teeth here. This is what really holds onto the plastic. So be very careful on that. Rolling these around. Sometimes this piece will be clipped. Sometimes when you pull out your truck it'll be undone like it is here. It's not a problem. It needs to be undone if it's not done already. So we're going to continue rolling this off. Okay, now that we got it free from the frame, we're going to go and start pulling the leather off the cushion. We're going to roll it back. Okay, don't just rip your leather off, because there's Velcro on the underneath side of this that are holding it to the seam pattern. So once you just kind of get it flipped, kind of like you're going to flip the cover inside out around the edges. Now you can get to this front corner. You can see the Velcro that's attached to the foam cushion. There's Velcro corresponding underneath of the cover. Start with your thumb pushing down on the Velcro. You don't want to rip it up, because if you just tug it real quick, you can really easily pull that Velcro off the foam cushion. So start just kind of an inch at a time, pushing down with your thumb on the Velcro that's attached to the cushion, and kind of slowly work it all the way back. Now if you do pull it off, it's not the end of the world. You can glue it right back down, but it just saves you a little time if you just kind of pull gingerly the first time around. Alright, now we're going to get to this other side. Do the same part. Keep working it back. Perfect. Now this white cushion, this white cloth here on top is actually your seat heater. You don't have to worry about it at all. It doesn't come into play since it's actually hooked onto your foam cushion. Now what we need to do next, we need to grab our new cover. We're going to come back here, we're going to reinstall it just like we pulled the old one off. Okay, one little tech tip for you is when you're pulling your old cover off, if you do happen to pull the Velcro off the cushion, it happens, I've done it too. Like I said, it's not the end of the world. It's a real easy fix. Get you a can of spray adhesive. They're running about $3-4 at any hardware store, probably even get it at Walmart. What you need to do is just pull up the section that's come undone from the foam. When it's flipped up, go and spray a good coating of that down onto the foam cushion. Go and lay it back down. Now it's pretty sticky, it's getting real tacky. You may not want to get it covered all over your fingers. If you don't want to do that, just get you a screwdriver or something that you can hold that down and keep some good pressure all the way across it. Give it a good 5-10 minutes, let it set up. You'll be good to go.